So I have a question for y'all. Would you get a BBL? Let's actually go into the definition of what a BBL is. Because whenever I think of BBLs, I just think of hourglass shape where they do plastic surgery to make you have an hourglass shape. Okay, I'm on Google. It says AI overview. This is something new. I've never seen that AI overview before. This must be something they introduced into Google. Anyways, BBL stands for Brazilian butt lift, which is a cosmetic surgery that uses fat from other parts of the body to improve the shape and projection of the buttocks. So, would you get one? I'm a person that watches a variety of content on YouTube, right? And over the course of maybe like the past 2 or 3 years, I have watched a variety of BBL videos where everyday people like you and me get on YouTube and share their experience of them going through the process of getting a BBL, the aftermath, and then updates about the BBL. So they'll do pre-op, post-op, and their week updates, month updates, and then like year updates and stuff like that. And I find the topic interesting, but also kind of not really confusing, but it's bewildering to me. Mainly because there are a few things, right, when it comes to plastic surgery. You do have to worry about complications. I have heard of so many different stories of women having issues or even dying. Just the overall pain of it. When I tell y'all, I have seen within these videos the pain that these women are going through, how they share how excruciating it is. They share the experience of how things felt. And for me, I'm just like, I know they say pain is beauty or beauty is pain, whatever the concept is, but I could not imagine doing that. You know what I mean? Not because I think that my body is great, because I'm not gonna hold you. I should be working out on a regular basis, not only just for looks, but for health purposes. But I don't know. The concept of getting that type of plastic surgery is always kind of baffling to me, just because I've seen more cons than pros when it comes to getting a BBL. There's also the cost of BBL. On plasticsurgery.org, it says the average cost of buttock augmentation with a Brazilian butt lift is $6,083. The average cost of butt implants is $7,074, and the average cost of a butt lift is $6,372, according to latest statistics of the American Society of Plastic Surgeons. And then on thegoodrx.com, they said a BBL can cost anywhere from $4K to $10K, with the average cost being $6,525 if you are working with a board certified surgeon. So that's a lot of money to be spending. And I would never judge anybody for getting plastic surgery, but I could not imagine spending that much money. Specifically because one of the things that bothers me about this whole BBL, I guess, epidemic per se, is the fact that so many young girls are getting BBLs, mainly between like the ages of 18 to 25 years old. I know there are people like, much older getting them, but between that age range is so crazy to me, because I'm like, what if you have kids? Or I know for me, even a lot of people that I've met, a lot of women, what ends up happening is so your metabolism tends to be fast, right, when you're younger. And then over time, your body starts adjusting, and your body is going to change throughout your entire life. But I just find it so wild to get a BBL when you're in your 20, 21 years old, 18 years old, and it's like, girl, you still a youth. Like there's a chance that you could get the body you always wanted, and you getting it all early, not realizing that your body could still go through other changes. You could potentially get the body you always wanted, or you could potentially gain weight, or you could end up having a baby, having multiple babies. And it's like, then you're gonna have to pay again to get this BBL. Again, I'm not knocking anybody who wants to get one, but I'm like, damn, at least wait a while before you get one, because you gonna end up spending all this money and then gonna proceed to potentially have to get it done again. And then there's also the factor that a lot of women will get these procedures done not realizing that they do have to work out to maintain it. And if you naturally don't work out, you probably gonna be back under that knife in a couple more years because you're not really maintaining it. It's just so much. It's really a whole lifestyle change, truly. Then recently I saw this video of this girl basically sharing her BBL experience, right? And I watched this video like within the past 2-3 weeks. This girl proceeds to share how, I can't remember what the name of the doctor was, but she proceeds to share how she paid some money up front, which was like, I guess, a down payment or something. It was like a decent, like $1,500 or whatever. Then she proceeded to pay some more money when it was time to have the surgery, so it totaled about like $8,000 and some change or whatever. She had to keep reaching out to the facility, first of all. Like, the only thing they were really contacting her was about the second payment, pretty much. The day before the surgery, she asked them, like, oh, should I eat before the surgery? They tell her, yeah, you should eat before the surgery. Go ahead. So she proceeds to get McDonald's the day of her surgery, like some hours before her surgery, which to me is crazy because normally when you have any type of surgery, they tell you do not eat or eat the day before, and then you cut off at a certain point of time the night before, and then you can't eat anything because they don't want you having to use the bathroom or potentially throwing up. You're like, it's a whole bunch of stuff that goes with it, or it can affect like your blood and stuff like that. So it's kind of like fasting you have to do. They pretty much tell her like you can eat. So she gets McDonald's and goes to get this BBL, right? So she set up, and apparently it was 3 other girls that was in the room with her that was gonna get the BBL too. And I'm like, excuse me? And she proceeds to explain that the person tells them like, yeah, we're gonna give you some local anesthetic, and they explain to her that she's gonna be awake, like they're not putting her under or anything. And she's sitting there like, you know, I want my money back, but at the same time, they're probably not gonna give me my money back, and I just spent $8,000 something, so I might as well just go with the procedure. And I'm like, girl, that is your life that you playing with. And she explains how they gave her something that made her a little drunk, a little tipsy bit, but she was able to feel everything. Like, she could feel them cutting her, putting the tubes in, doing all this removal, all this other stuff. And I'm just sitting there like, so you just awake, going through all of this to get your body a certain shape. And later she ends up finding out, it was a lot of red flags in the story, but later she ends up finding out that they weren't even certified. And it's like, girl, it was so many red flags within the story she was sharing where it was like, you are so blessed that you are still alive this day. Because it was just so much, you know, she talked about her pain experience and all that stuff. I have heard of so many different stories on YouTube with women going through certain issues where they would find out the person wasn't certified or it was a lot of pain. And it's just, at the very least, if you're gonna get a BBL, do your research. At least find a decent amount of reviews where it's both verbal, where people share their reviews on like YouTube, TikTok that is not sponsored, as well as actual reviews that people leave, you know, whether it's through Google, Better Business Bureau, whatever. Because a lot of these women are getting this procedure done and they're not from people that are certified to be doing this stuff on their bodies, or some people are having botched surgeries. But anyways, so the question was would you get a BBL? And I'm not gonna lie, I'm very biased. I personally wouldn't get one, but if I had the mindset to get one, I would make sure that they were certified. I would make sure that I was going to somewhere that had a reputable amount of reviews, that is not only sponsored or like promoted by influencers. I need to have everyday, regular, schmegular people like me that has got this procedure done and that enjoyed the process, both pre-op, post-op, during. I also would do it at an age, early 30s, I could understand getting a BBL, but not in my early 20s or like when I'm a teen. Because I do believe in the concept of grown woman body, as in, for example, for me, I didn't really get my grown woman body until I turned 28 years old. Because I always used to be very, very skinny. I used to weigh a decent amount of my early 20s. I weighed around like 110, 115. And then when I hit like 25, that was when I actually started gaining weight. I actually have gained a decent amount of weight now, especially in my 30s. It's like so many of these women are getting this procedure done, not aware that their body could change during this process. process. And again, to me it's like that could potentially be a waste of money to do it right then and there when you don't know what could happen. It was this one girl on Twitter people were talking about because she had got a BBL and then she got pregnant maybe a year later. And I was like, girl, hopefully she has a healthy pregnancy and everything, but at the same time, I mean, I guess if she can afford it, she can get the surgery, but it's, to me, I don't know. Some people be addicted to getting surgeries, or if they want to, they can. But at the same time, I don't know. I just feel like it makes sense after you have a baby to do it versus doing it when you haven't had one, if that's what you want to do. Like if you plan on having kids. Like if you don't plan on having kids, then that's a completely different story. But if you do plan on having kids, girl, you could gain a lot more weight than you already had back. Or, you might not care for the way you look then, or you might even like the way you look with the weight on, but it might have just been a waste to get the BBL in the first place. Because I've seen a lot of women where they'll gain weight and they'll like the way that their body looks after being small or not liking their shape beforehand. But it's like you'll never know until some years later. But that's just my 2 cents. That's just how I personally feel about the whole BBL thing. But how do y'all feel about BBLs? Would y'all get one? Are you taking the proper precautions as far as safety measures within getting one? What are your thoughts about people getting BBLs? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know if you would get any other plastic surgery, because I would not be opposed to other plastic surgery like boob reductions or stuff like that, but I don't know, BBLs, within being a woman, your body changes,